They did it. They announced every single day they would do it eventually. I had an interview with Custom today. He said it's today. They got a win. A win is a win.
A win is a win. And
A win
to be
is a
fair, a convincing win, to be honest. I think Natives drafted themselves into a corner. And I think Blue Whites had a really good read on that draft. That Malphite pick, I think, was just so big brain. The Karthus had so much impact in the game, and I just feel like, as much as, honestly, the Pantheon was probably the shining light for Natives in that game, and I know, Archie, you'll be happy to hear that. I think Bull was putting a lot of work in, and the rest of his team were just scattered. They looked very, very lost in this game, and it felt like Blue Whites, who we've seen this glimmer of hope from them all split along. It felt like it finally kind of took flair and ignited into something. They were just a very well-coordinated team, and they pulled off a pretty impressive victory here.
Well, let's talk with them, because Custom is already ready. Sorry, Real, we'll toss it to you afterwards, but before that, I want to communicate with Custom. He did it! I
Yo,
just
what
talked
up?
with you before the show! We did it!
Come on!
This is so biased.
Come on!
I put in my points, man. As soon as I saw Painting, I was like, I love you, Custom, but I gotta change teams, man. I gotta change teams. But at the end, that was beautiful. It was not what I was expecting, by the way. The pick, the Corky mid, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it was a boring because, listen, we expected them to ban Corki Tristana because it's like broken champs. And then I could pick Kassadin, you know, get some funny business going. But, like, they leave Corki Tristana open. Like, what's going on?
Okay, so you got the win. How was the communication? How was the team feeling? Tell me, like, how was Discord, TeamSpeak? I don't know, like, cell phone, how you guys were communicating? Tell me.
The comms were kind of down in the early game. I don't speak much early game. I'm like mid-game, late game. The comms were a bit sad because it wasn't looking too hot. But, you know, we kept the morale up. Like, I'm talking to everyone, bro. I'm like keeping the morale up completely on the ship. And I said we outscale one item, Malphite pick, completely crazy this game. Our coach just smurfed it completely. Let's keep it a buck. Our coaches got half the win today. And yeah, I kind of 1v9. Let's keep it a buck. Enemy mid lane got completely gapped.
So, do you have any idea who was the MVP for this game?
Yeah, me, of course. I was the best player.
You?
Yeah, clearly.
It was actually you, by the way. It was actually you. Yeah, you were the MVP, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
Of course it was.
I mean, it was not the Kassadin, but at least it was good. Okay, so if you have anything to say to the community, what would you say right now? Like, everybody's listening to you.
Yo, most important, everyone who voted on Blue Whites to win today, you're goated. You're goated. Hey, 0-10 and you voted for us to win. That's clean. That's the most important part.
Just letting you know. Now pick Pantheon. Thank you so much for the interview. I'll see you soon. Bro. Best of luck. Lovely.
Thank you, bro.
Man, and there you go. He's the MVP. I was not lying. He was the MVP. A lot of people could have gotten this MVP.
Clearly. Like, I said it in my acceptance speech, I was like, I'm going to pick the right teams to win. Shout out to the Euros. I already know how to pick them right. Now we come here, Blue Whites in my lock-in, quick win. That's how it goes, you know? Of course, it's the Div 2 man coming for the Div 2 team that made their way up. Obviously, yeah, you had Karthus on before, but we can forget that, you know? I'm the Div 2 guy that gave them the hope.
J-Real, wait. You voted for Blue Whites?
Yeah.
Me too, I voted for Blue Whites. Hey, Brian, you...
Look, Wait,
Hipran, before you say anything, Tim is ready for the interview. I'll let you cook.
Tell him I'm disappointed.
Hey, Tim, how are you doing? Hipran is disappointed.
Yeah, if anyone should be disappointed, it's me, like Artrim, J-Will. What's going on here, guys? What's this betrayal?
You can't
I
judge
thought
me,
we were
though.
tied.
You can't
I
judge
can. We even pick your Pantheon today and you act like this? Like, actually, complete betrayal. It's insane.
No, but the Pantheon was the highlight of the composition. Like, tell me about the AP you did and all that. Like, you were cooking. What did you cook?
Yeah, we were cooking a bit today, and I don't think people wanted to taste it afterwards. Let's be honest. No, I think what ended up happening, right? If you just look at how the game played out, I mean, as I heard Custom mention a little bit, right? Like they felt completely doomed at the beginning, right? As you can see, our composition, we were playing very aggressive. I think we even built like a 3k gold lead at the beginning. And then I think even just talking to the team a bit afterwards, I feel like we were a bit, maybe disoriented is the wrong word, right? But at least disconnected, and we just started disrespecting cooldowns a lot, forcing fights we didn't have to, instead of, you know, just playing on our timers. And it got to a point where I mean, I think the crucial one even just being us contesting the Baron after getting away the Dragon, right? Like we weren't really sure if we wanted to commit to the fight on the Dragon while they still didn't have their cooldowns, and then because afterwards we feel like we have to go contest the Baron, right? We don't have these cooldowns like the Aatrox ult, for example, and then composition was obviously harder to execute. Yeah.
At this point, you are aware of what happened with the loss versus Blue Whites. You are out of playoffs. So.
Yeah, it sucks.
I know. I have to make this question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I can speak on behalf of the whole team, right? We're disappointed. In the sense that going into the split, obviously we felt that we were going to be able to perform a lot better than we have, and I think those who have been watching all the way along have also seen those glimpses of sometimes we're really good, sometimes we're not, right? And the inconsistency has just ended up biting us in the behind, right? Like close games against some of the top teams, even taking games off of some of them as well, but also having games like this one where it feels like everything kind of just falls apart a bit after one thing goes wrong. So yeah, I don't think any of us is necessarily satisfied, right? And even though we can't necessarily still make it, I think we still want to show that we at least can show some good league, right? And that we're not, compete too bad. Even though, I mean, with this win, there still was no guarantee. We knew that already last week. And going into this week, the hope was that we were going to be able to, get that 4-game win streak and kind of sneak our way in. But now that that's gone, I think it has to be a case of trying to show the best league we can while still providing good competition and hopefully causing some chaos for everyone else.
I like it. Keep the chaos and keep showing up that the team is really good. So let's see what happens until the end of the split. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you for the pick as well. You're lovely. I'll see you soon, I hope.
See you.
Hey, Brian, now I can let you talk about, you know what, Ruddy versus Verdant, because that's the game we're going to jump into. We shouldn't talk about this further on. We already have all the information here, Brian. It's on you. So, Ruddy versus Verdant. This is an interesting one. At least in my mind, I love this guy. Because Veteran was saying Verdant could be the shining light at the end of the tunnel, and Ruddy are trying to lock in the first place. But Verdant could be the Ruddy of Spring Split, like the miracle run. You see
Right now, I just not sold on Verdant. I've not been sold on Verdant all split long. I just don't think they've really had a particularly great form. I will argue that, well, I won't argue, but I'll agree with Veteran there. Their losses haven't looked as bad as some of the other teams' losses above them have looked. So they have got that going for them. My major concern about Ruddy, and I've said this multiple times during the split, was I don't think we've seen much macro from them. They've just relied on their ability to out-hands everybody else and just beat them by just being better mechanically at the game. Last week, I can't remember who it was versus, but we saw them versus a team, and they played a macro game, and they played it very well, along with out-handsing people at the same time. So my major issue with Ruddy has started to be shored up. They've shown us their ability to be able to do that, and I just think right now Ruddy are just too good. I'll be very surprised if we have an upset coming in from Verdant here as we do move into picks and bans. So far, nothing particularly out of the ordinary. When you do look at Alex's champ pool, though, you do have things like this Yone you've got to account for, because he does pull this out, loves his AD mids, loves to get scrappy and get into the fights from there. So that's something that Verdant are going to have to play around.
Important for Ruddy to win this one so they can lock themselves in playoffs regardless of spot. For Verdant, they have to keep the run moving forward. So if they want to be the miracle run, they have to do it right now. Talia and Syndra being removed from Ruddy on the other side. We're going for those targets picks, not allowing you to look and to play that AP in the jungle. But keep in mind that Nata was the 11-0 Jhin in the first game they played. And even then, X-Drop did a game out of his mind. 8-3 with Ashe. So somehow the enemy AD carry lands 11 KDA and you're still getting 8 kills as the opponent. That's something to brag about.
Yeah, we're going to see that Tristana picked up first. We kind of talked about it a bit in the green room. I kind of want to see someone play Lucian, but I don't think it's going to be Ruddy that are going to do it into Tristana. As you said, Miracle Run, it has to start now. If we look at the actual just maths of the equation, Verdant, out of 4 games, they essentially probably need to win 4 games, because if Venom Crest win 2, then there is no opportunity for them to come back into it without a clean sweep. So it is really all on this game for them to kind of kick off this run. And to be honest, I feel like Ruddy are looking like the strongest team. I put 5 points on Ruddy. You know, I have a lot of faith in the team and the org. So realistically, for me, it would be a big shock, big upset if Verdant could pull this one off. And hey, we got Rel, the most picked champion in the league. Isn't that right,
He
Archer?
knows. Here, Brian, you should have known if you were on the show.
Yeah, well, don't bring me back to my mic issues. They don't have the Rumble to pair it up with, though, which has been a typical go-to for this Rel. But it does just look like, thinking about potentially picking up a counter for the mid lane, they could also just look towards their jungle. They decide not to. They actually pick up this Ivern here, moving over to Verdant. Obviously going to be looking probably towards jungle and maybe a support counter or at least an ADC pickup here. Things like the Ezreal are still up and available if they want to be taking that. Right now hovering the Ivern, who's been very high priority in picks and bans throughout the entirety of the split. So it wouldn't be an overly surprising pickup. I would like to see an AP jungler getting picked up by Ruddy here. I think he hovered things like the Lilia prior to this. Zyra is still up and available as well if you want to pick that up. So there's plenty of good AP junglers available to Ruddy. But Verdant, yeah, no real surprises here. Getting themselves a support, getting themselves a jungler. They've got a pretty good kind of like utility backline here with this Leona and Ivern. And now moving over to Ruddy to see what they're going to look to pick up. Hovering this Lilia, I think it's Lilia Zyra. It's going to be one of the two. We haven't really had too much Zyra getting played in this league yet, but it is a menace at how quick it can take objectives. So, I mean, Lilia fulfills a somewhat similar role. Very fast clearer.
Focus on the top line now for the events. Tell me, J-Real.
Sorry, Arch. I wonder if we see a bit of a flex, right? Because they got the Tristana. They could send that into the bot lane now that they see the Yone, and then maybe switch it up with something a little bit more counterable. But at the same time, I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm thinking about this matchup. Ruddy, I feel like they have all of the strength in the solo lanes versus Verdant, right? That's their big, easy win con here. I think the X-Drop has looked phenomenal. So realistically, if you want to play into the bot lane, I guess you could try and just wipe them off the map. But I feel like you can gain the most from solo lanes. So for me, it's all about this top side. And I like that Ruddy are banning away picks immediately. We're also getting some bans from Verdant. So the top side, the pool is getting narrower and narrower, which I think, in my opinion, it's better for Ruddy than it is for Verdant.
Yeah, you're taking away those one-trick ponies like the Riven for build. He plays a lot, so he's not uncomfortable with the Renekton and the Cassandra being removed from the table right now. I think they could focus on another one, and there you go. This is Malphite because they know X-Drop needs to bring in the AD carry, and you're still leaving that Tristana on the flex, and now Nata has to reveal something. Do you either reveal with the AD carry or even the top lane? But better to relieve, like,
it's got to be ADC. You want to counterpick top.
Yeah.
You want to counterpick top lane and just... But, I mean, looking at the top lane bans that have come through, I'll be surprised if Built plays like a Bruiser or a carry top laner. There is still things like the Jax we have seen show up a few times in the league. If you want to go Bruiser route, there's even Camille as well available. I think I'd rather just see like an Ornn or something that can real frontline for you, because you've got a lot of squishy damage dealers. You've got the Yone, you've got the Lilia, you've got the MF. You've only really got a Rel as your frontline, and that's the support. So they don't get as much gold, they don't get as much stats off the back of that. So I would like to just see something like an Ornn or something which can, first of all, kind of back up and start fights with the team, but also is just an effective frontline. And Sheehan somewhat predicting that, actually, looking to go for something that can scrap in that top side. But Heise going in the bot lane for X-Drop, so it will be Harbo on the Tristana, and now just looking for a Bruiser here for Verdant, so they don't want to go full on tank. And Sheehan going for a bit of a Sheehan classic for Darius. I think this is the second time we've seen him pull this out, if I remember right.
It's the third time.
Bold.
Is it the first time? Someone else
No,
played it.
third time.
Whoa! Yo, the instant lock on the Vayne is crazy.
They were ready.
No, I'm saying, first of all, Darius blind pick, bold. Also, combo of Lilia going to sleep plus the bullet time, crazy from Ruddy. But the Vayne, I don't know if I'm sold on it. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm sold on the Vayne.
No, they were ready.
Kind of
We were ready, yeah. You played twice the Darius, and it's not an easy one. You play versus Rumble and Cassante, and the idea is you're trying to keep the gap, but with Vayne, I don't think you're allowed to do that. It's gonna be a tough one. So when we look into the end, like the champion select is already done, where do you stand, both of you?
Nameplates off, I actually go Verdant. Nameplates off, I go Verdant. Nameplates on, it's Ruddy, man. Like, if anyone's going to pilot the Vayne top, it's them. There is a very clear weakness in this team. if they get caught out, they have the engage with, I'm assuming, going to be Ghost Darius, but also the Leona Solar Flare. If any of that hits, there's so many squishy people. I mean, Alaric will be the tankiest person, and again, they're not going to be that tanky because they're a support. I don't know, man. To me, I think Ruddy have got a very risky draft, but if they do run away with it, this game is going to feel impossible for Verdant to play. But yeah, it's time will tell. I might be losing more points here.
I think for me personally, I feel like, yeah, very similar to Hipbrain here. I feel like Nameplate's off. I think Verdant have the easier comp to play. But the thing is I wrote in my notes a little bit earlier, Roddy, they love a messy skirmish. They love a crazy team fight, you know? So I will say the fact that they picked a lot of really good individual units, I feel like means that if they do make these scrappier plays, make this more spread out team fight where it's not a clumped up 5v5, I think they will have the big advantage. But we have seen this Vayne before not pay off for them. I'm not sure if I'm fully with the Vayne, but you know what, Bill? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong with all my might. All I'm saying is Ruddy up. Let's go. 5 points for me.
Ruddy, at least if people are looking for Ruddy, they will lock in the playoffs position. Not the first seed, but at least the position towards the playoffs. For Verdant, will the miracle run continue? Let's run on to the casters. We have Veteran, the man with a plan, and our tiny little duckling. How you doing?
Thank you so much, Ashra. With that, what are you doing, bro? Aren't you pushing 30? Like, come on.
Vayne, baby.
Vayne, baby.
Vayne, baby.
Can you do the Vayne tumble? You have the space behind you.
Yeah, I'm pushing 30, and out of the two of us, I'm the only one that's fun, duckling. Okay, do you hate fun? Do you hate when I'm enjoying myself? Are you grumpy already? At the age like 21,
I've been
22?
a substitute teacher, of course.
Because no one loves you? No
I'm
one
still
likes
20,
you? Everyone
bro.
bullies
I'm still
you?
20.
Jesus Christ, man.
Jesus
Christ. But
one
Vayne,
thing though that
right,
does make me happy, right, is the storyline and matchup in this game. I'm only looking at the top in here. Bill versus Shihan, Vayne versus Darius. When Shihan first, a year ago, came into our league, it was on Ruddy, and he was known for his Darius. Locking it in against his former team, now counter-picked as well. I mean, it's gonna be a banging matchup, and I am very happy about we get to see that.
this is also going to come down to two concepts that the desk was actually talking about. One was Hipbrain talking about that he doesn't like the macro level that we've seen from Ruddy, with the exception of one game, by which I assume he means like their map movements as well as timings, and Jay will talking about their skirmishing. For them to pull off the Vayne, it's going to be to do with that macro, with those map movements, and it's actually going to be to do with them avoiding the kind of skirmishing that Jay will likes to see them do. If they can execute both those things and basically prove the desk wrong, that's how they will beat Verdant.
Let's see if that will come to fruition as we throw it in to game number 2 of the day. Onto the Rift we go. Here for game number 2. It is a very important game for both teams. Obviously Verdant still fighting to keep their playoffs hopes alive already. Just one win away from locking it in.
One game away. So the reason that the Vayne works is, so I'm a big advocate of Vayne for the last couple of years now, because there have just been so many good scenarios of it while enchanters have been out of the meta. If you get a scenario where melee bot and melee top has been locked in by your opponents, it's essentially always a Vayne game. Because what you need to have as Vayne is you need to have the ability to be able to group and contest mid-wave, or the ability to play to at least one side lane. If you don't have 2 lanes free, one of which being mid lane, then you can't realistically play the Vayne. Whereas here, because they've gone with the Leona, it is entirely plausible for you to be able to play midsection, and because they've gone with the Darius, it is very easy for you to be able to play those side lanes out at later stages. So Vayne always has somewhere to go, always has somewhere where she can give pressure. Whereas in a range circumstance on either lane, she'd be constricted to one lane, and it would be very easy for the opponents to match in a regard where Vayne wouldn't be able to play out the game and would just be a detriment to a team and get no significant advantages overall. It is true that if Built was to misstep, etc., this lane could go very badly, very fast, but that's a pretty dramatic ask, right? Look at that spacing right there. There's nothing really Shihan can do. Built has to give Shihan the win here, rather than Shihan make some kind of monumental monster outplay. I'm not saying he won't make an outplay at any point, but it will be an outplay because Built has forgotten the absolute fundamentals of a ranged champion. If Built hasn't done that, he should be able to run away with the game. You might be thinking, what about Harbo? Surely Harbo as an assassin ADC mid laner is going to be able to match the Vayne later on. No sir, this is the quintessential anti-assassin AD carry that the Vayne is. So she's almost always going to be able to match the mid laner. If it's an assassin, she's built, my god, no pun intended, built really well for that. If it is a mage, yeah, have fun trying to 1v1 a Vayne. If it is a fighter, a bruiser fighter, that's the best case scenario to the Vayne. Something like the Yone, for example, is what I'm talking about when I'm thinking about a fighter, but that's not what she is up against.
Very true, as that was a great little breakdown on the peculiar situations of this Vayne top laner's build. Continue to try and use his range advantage to poke, denying minions, of course, as the lane progresses. Was kind of doing the same thing here. Alex, though, trading back pretty nicely so far as Kedrugan gets his jungle underway. But let's keep our eyes on this. Alaric gets the CC initially. Harbo has the flash, though, and doesn't want to overcommit, so Alaric just backs off. Why didn't he go for the engage there? Do you... Yeah.
He has no flash.
He has no flash. Oh yeah, that's true actually. Didn't see that. But maybe just to try and... I thought for sure he would just force Harbo flash and then back out. Maybe like, you know, the Q into W. Let's see what happens here though.
Yeah. If Harbo had already burned W, I'd agree. Otherwise, I think he just puts himself in an exposed position. Kedrugan, yeah, just wants to kind of slowly escort Alex out, but they're both solo. Alex does have somewhat of a sustained advantage with that Doran's Blade and the full fleet setup. Sorry, Doran's Ring. Sorry, Doran's Shield!
Yeah, there we go. He won Alex here, by the way. Tries to make some fancy up there, and Harbo, the damage not quite there, and in the end, it is the first blood claim for Verdant.
It's not built full lane, it is in fact Alex in the mid lane. We've seen this before. We know that's not really going to adjust his playstyle, or will it? Maybe we see some more growth from Alex. He had that mid-split growth in spring. Maybe we're moving back to the calmer state of Alex now, but the opening there, we're down to the wire a bit. They knew there was going to be a bit of a risk coming into when it moves past Creek, wondering why Kedrugan wasn't going to handle him there, but bot lane, holy god.
Oh,
Alaric, hello?
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay, every lane but top lane is falling for Ruddy right now. I'm not sure you can blame this one on the Vayne.
Yeah, that's not a good start for the team that is just one game away from closing those spots, closing that playoff spot. And remember, by the way, it is very important to think about the fact that top 4 as well guarantees a participation to EMEA Masters.
Wow.
Harbo trading very aggressively here with Alex. So in the past we had 2 seeds just last split, but with the changes, the other 2 playoff teams, the 4th place will be sent into the last chance qualifier. A very high stakes tournament, you could say, where I think 32 teams fight for just 4 spots as extra. We'll fight to stay alive here. Alaric might be too far forward actually, as able to jump out. Good a bit of damage back on Komsky. Kedrugan is going to walk right into Doberman's waiting hand if he continues forward, but instead he goes backwards, finds Harbo, who will try and trade very aggressively here. Feeling confident already, finding that first, but maybe finding one more here, but the cancel on the jump, and now it's Ruddy's time to shine. They find 2 already, flash forward from extra, but he will likely die here. The auto attack's coming through. Nata, not enough mana to really get anything back. Where is the Q? Doesn't have it. The mana just not there, but instead the auto attacks will secure. That's 3 kills now for the AD carry of Ruddy.
Yeah, Nato running away with 3 kills from 1 overextension by Verdant. Top lane just continuing as it remains even to 2 items. Vayne is going to be one of the most unstoppable behemoths. I'm very glad that her team has... I think.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. Well, it's come back. Built back to reality there, as his team kind of, remembers that they were in fact griefing into Verdant before that point on the bot lane. Still a very winnable game for Ruddy. Nata with 3 kills, coming back with a BF sword. I think the game is very clear in terms of objectives now of what Ruddy want to do, who they want to play around, and where they are winning.
So to zoom out a bit, obviously it's a Ruddy game. Can't expect many minutes without any kills coming through. No one is taking any neutral objectives yet, but that is about to change as Dopamine is taking that first Drake Kiturikan straight on towards those void grubs to get something back on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, blue side trading bot, red side trading top, getting Vayne a reset as well on top side always going to be a good thing. Not quite sure the lanes that Vayne's rolling with there, but I'm pretty sure she's slow pushing in. So if you go for all of these top side camps, it's probably the best XP related thing that Kiturikan could do to try to get ahead of Ivan solo. And then if you believe you're always going to have the slow push on top on the next reset, you don't think Ivan's going to get those initial grubs either. So you could conceivably play for all of this top side reset and then play for top side grubs with respawn top side camps yourself. If Ivan doesn't choose to get to contest you on that, and you lose your bot side, well, you've traded grubs and another slow push into Darius for it. If Ivan does decide to contest you, then you can always reset. You're not likely to concede it because you have that pressure on top lane and just claim your bot side.
Build has rotated down here to maybe put some pressure on mid lane, but seems to be pathing up towards the top of the again. I want to see what happens here, but I also want to take back the statement about the void grubs instead. Kiturikan just stealing away the whole top side from Dopamine. That's Alex. Really wanted that minion, might be a bit too far there in the end. Able to just walk it off as Harbo doesn't commit fully. Yep. Shihan was in the area as well. It feels like we are on the verge of fights very often in this game, but didn't mold into anything.
Yep, I mean, it's perfectly fun to roll that HP there, knowing that you're going to be recalling on the next cannon wave. Harbo there also not capable of freezing whatsoever. He's just trying to make sure that he has a safe spot to be able to clear the next wave in case Kiturikan is there by holding the minion on that creek. And now he's cleared and just matching the recall, so Alex home back in with full HP. Looks like a potentially dangerous trade, but not really unless you're severely at risk of dying. Nata opening up.
Oh, yeah, good open up, but X-Drop is now low. Dopamine is here though, so they can look to try and trade back. Killer Instinct is available if X-Drop wants to get into the front lines. Instead, good damage on Komsky as he's now able to back off. Kiturikan is now here, and this could develop into a full-blown 3v3. Verton though very quickly calling off the counter move and instead just accepting that they get out with their members alive.
Yeah, Nata's ultimate also came out on the death of the red cannon, so he's saying to drop, do you really want the XP from this cannon? Because trust me, mate, you ain't getting the gold, and if you want the XP, you're going to have to trade your entire HP bar for it. So very good initial trade by Nata, especially if Kiturikan on bot side able to kill off if anything went too fast and dirty. But Nata really leveraging an advantage on bot side. Alex
is in big trouble here, rooted. And pretty much just dead. Good flash though to buy some space, but Harbo nicely finds the kill to close it off. Kiturikan can't follow up with the flash because it is on cooldown, so that's just an easy way out for Harbo, who's very happy getting his third kill of the game. While Dopamine is stealing away a camp.
700 gold deficit in mid lane, but 200 gold advantage in the top lane with a significant CS lead for the Vayne, which represents that Vayne has been able to win out on the spacing contests on top side overall, and a 1.1k gold on bot lane. So long as you have these two winning sides, you're able to stymie the ability for Tristan to do something like, for example, extend for turret plates on bot, so long as you maintain these two winning lanes. It looks like Ruddy, they don't just want to maintain it.
Oh, that's a good engage from Mallory. Gets the follow-up there as Nata coming through now with the auto-attacks. X-Drop though quickly gaining one kill back. Nata dying to the turret pretty much all on his own. The kill as well comes through. It's a shutdown on Combs. Gives up for a second. X-Drop was the last to get a hit on it. But it's a 2-for-1 for Verton there.
Yep, Leona gets the shutdown on Nata there, so it'll be a fed Leona, but it won't necessarily be a fed Kai'Sa as that gold lead extends for Nata overall. Harbo gonna start hitting bot lane, but Alex already on that mid lane tower, gonna clear next wave as well before a potential recall. Meanwhile, top lane, built casually 2 waves ahead of the Darius, just living his best life. Like, for what it's worth, right, it's not being this Vayne as being an issue for Ruddy if any issue kind of turns up, right? Vayne may have to deal with a severely fed Tristana, but if you're going to have a fed Tristana later on and you want to match her, putting the Vayne is one of the best ways to do it. Vayne being able to cancel Tristana's all-in with her E, Vayne being able to run that Tristana down like the dog she is with the passive on her ultimate. Vayne, one of the best duelist champions in the game, probably one of the best people to take into that, so they're going to be relying on Built at that point. Instead of Built versus Shihan's Darius being the decider, it could actually be Built's Vayne on side lane versus Harbo's very fed Tristana.
And I mean, worth a mention, in fact, that one of the last times I remember seeing a Vayne up against a Tristana, who was very fit, was 2018 summer semifinals. Misfits up against Fnatic. And I'll hold on to that thought. There was, I think, maybe Harpo is in trouble, but is the damage there? We have been asking the question many times. This time, the Jans is an emphatic yes, as Alex claims the kill alongside Katurikan, getting on the board. Dive here as well. They are very happy to go underneath this turret. Didn't work out last time, but so far, so good for the ready bot lane. Good damage to both Kalmski and Extra, but if the rotation comes through, things might change. But it's Katurikan who strike first. The mana boss, here on Nata, so can't really do all too much. I think they are calling the play off. Dopamine though, right in the area of the TP, and never mind, they are fully committing. They want these kills to be theirs, and Alaric will make it out to safety. Extra though will have a different fate. It is Nata who claims it. Yes, they find one, but this time it is finally in Ruddy's favor as they go beneath the turrets.
Nata turning on the AD carry there, despite being in a position to take full context of the passive of the Q of everything from drop and dropping.
Dopamine.
I can't say.
Harpo's here. I'm not sure that we're aware of that, and Alaric is just there. The resets are here. Nata has no mana, no sums. Harpo, can you go forward? No. And that finally ends a long string of plays.
It does indeed, but Nata, the real victor of all of this, and Alex coming straight back into the game. That gold state is even, but he was winning skirmishes beforehand on towards Harbo. So what looks like a game where Verdant had some options before mid-game even arrived. Ruddy seemed to be fully in the driver's seat as a gold lead top. It's extended to almost 1k. The gold lead on bot has extended by an additional 1k to 2k. And now mid, looking at a slightly ahead scenario. Will Kalmski's Fed Leona be enough? That was a little bit of a joke, a little bit of humor, but Kalmski, he is a good playmaker, very well known in the Portuguese scene. He might not need that gold lead. Carry it could be pure skill alone as he goes for a first play.
Yeah, it's a bit of damage here. Harpo though trading back nicely, and both Alex and Alaric. Extra might have been found out. Katurikan, that's a lot of damage! As Nata claims his 6th kill of the game. That's crazy, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Take a break now. Just a short one. I want to get back to the thing I was discussing right before we had 2 minutes of uninterrupted fighting, pretty much. So, my 2018 summer playoff reference was to the Misfits versus Fnatic games. You've probably all seen it. It's the one where Caps, playing the Vayne mid lane, outplays the Tristana. Speaking of, Alex can't quite find Harpo. One last Q would have been all it took. Nice sidestep there to get out to safety, though, as I never get to finish the story, man. It's crazy. Stop fighting,
You started at 14 minutes, bro. Mid-game is happening. All the fortifications are
I
down.
started
Everyone
5
make
minutes
plays.
ago, man. But at this pace, I'm going to have to see the Nexus fall before we find the end, as Alex looks for the 1v2 outplay, a 1v3 rather. And that is something he can't win. They get a mid lane tier 1 in return, though, but Harpo finds his 4th.
And they're playing really hard to enable Vayne to hit tower on top side. So by delaying, by tanking all the HP on the tier 2, they do prevent more damage coming out on towards that tier 1 on bot. And this allows Vayne to take the tower on top side and look to make a crash earlier or equidistant to Tristana, but with a winning midsection. So Ruddy should have all the options on the next reset coming back in towards the lanes. They've given 2 Drakes for it, but they are in a very solid lead to be able to dictate the map on their terms. And Vayne, remember, she has 2 good options of where she wants to play now. Arguably 3 good options overall, since I'm very confident in her ability to match Harbo, a 1.3k gold lead on that 1.2. Okay, just don't you have to correct me, like 1.2k gold lead on the Vayne. So she can match Harbo, she can match Tristana, and heavens above, if Nata suddenly disconnects, she can match mid lane as well.
Thank you very much, Bertrand. I now want to round it off. What I was thinking was when Caps on the Vayne mid lane outplayed Hansama, the E in the wall, turned the game around, actually turned the whole series around in Fnatic. When what is has now been their last NLC title, which was then the EU LCS. I was 15 back then. I haven't seen them for trophy since. That's as we get back to the game. Yeah. I mean, now it feels kind of bad because it was shared. The story was split across 3 different, 4 or 5 different minutes actually, and 3 different parts. But we got there in the end.
They're gonna fight in about 25 seconds. So,
And do you have any story you want to tell then in 25 seconds? Go on.
no.
Thank you. Nothing else?
No.
Nope. Okay.
My god, are you just gonna recall Kamsky like this?
Damn.
Really? Oh, no, we're not. He's like, hang about. And then drops like, actually, you know what? It's recalling does sound like a good idea.
Oh,
but like,
yeah, Kamsky's
but
now
like I
put out.
told
Bill
you,
doesn't have the vision.
they're playing for this topside scuttle spawn. Right, that's what they want to be getting right now, while shifting things in towards Alex. So you saw Vayne move, instead of like getting played towards the play for that tier 2 bot, by making the initial movements to shallow vision, she's making it clear that on the next wave that she's essentially trading on Darius to get that vision, she was going to go for a grouping in towards this top side, and that there would potentially be a play for deep vision, try to catch out jungle support moving for that scuttle. So she made it clear when she didn't play to go for duels on Darius, or to go for like say that she played in the brush by Krugs, that would indicate that she's actually going to play for next wave, and I would expect to see Ruddy shift their jungle support down there to allow her to play with the tempo advantage in tier 2. But when she started shifting, there's like, okay, they're going to play for a scuttle catch, so in 25 seconds is going to be a fight, so tell a story. And you were like, I'm boring, so I'm out of stories, because the last interesting I happened was when I was 15 years old, which was so long ago, Fnatic were a successful org.
Thank you, veteran. As we move on, I wanted to ask you why you never, or you not never, because you have been into coaching. That's still one of the things, though. I'm pretty sure that I've taken a photo with you as a fan before when I was down watching the EOCS.
Oh, really?
Back when you were at H2K. That was like
I didn't know you had such
2018.
fantastic taste.
I took a picture with all the teams, even the losers.
Oh, well, never mind. You almost have my respect there.
I mean, actually, that when I was down there in 2018, Foxtrot interviewed me as well for the broadcast. Sadly, though, that part got cut.
There we go.
Talking of cutting through the HP by is Alex. He's dying as well, though. Yet another 1v3 that he can't win. But yeah, that is. Wow, Ruddy have gotten a lot here, actually. What in the world? That's
Yeah,
one
but
more
I
check.
like this. Like, I love threatening bot side this hard at around this time, because it means on the next set of resets, the enemy's looking to de-push bot, the enemy's looking to set up on that, and while they're doing that, what can you trade for it on this rotation? Baron control. About to start spawning, right? So if you do this high pressure situation bot side and essentially play a diagonally towards Baron pit, you are set up at the optimal time to start playing that late game objective. So now would be the worst time to start telling a story, because both teams are deciding about how they want to be
I don't
playing
have
out
any
the
more
late game
stories to tell,
situation.
man. I just wanted to mention the fact that Vayne mid lane was a thing, and it was a
Yeah,
very
it was.
iconic EU moment. Let's see if
still be
another
a thing.
iconic folklore moment is gonna happen here, as the Baron is now up on the map. Nata, 6 1-on-1, raking in those value points for anyone playing. Luckily, he is my captain, my goat. Alex, though, not really doing his part here today. I want to talk about the top lane just very quickly here. Do you think Sheehan has done a decent job? He's 2k behind, obviously range versus melee, right? But he's done fine, right? Survived?
You can't do anything by draft, so like insofar as we could expect something to happen, yes, he's done fine. Like he didn't get accelerated on, but most of the game happened bot side. Burden playing very aggressive to try to get topside priority back so they can enter that Baron pit, get the vision. You can see Darius in there right now. You can see that pink that they've placed around on Baron. Ruddy playing a bit back. They're fairly confident, it feels like, that they can just engage into what is essentially a juggernaut composition. If they have to come in second, they're at least very confident that this composition can't just fast do a Baron. I'm not sure if either of those two scenarios is true. I actually think Verdun are in a really good position to dictate terms now for the incoming fight and say, we are going to have a fight right now. They don't have very long to make a decision. Look at Alex on the bot side. He does have teleport. He could be threatening bot side right now. They need to make something happen, and this is their option.
Harbo is jumping on towards him. Good return from Alaric, but on the flank, it is Jihan waiting. Alaric the next up on the list, but he's able to make it out though. Big removal getting the Vayne out of the fight before it really starts.
Oh my god.
Just a bit of damage on the bullet time, nothing major. Alex is on the bot lane though.
Daisy was removed by the bullet time. That could actually be really big. That removes the
But
ability
they're still
to
on the
tank it
Baron.
via Daisy. Yes, but it has to be Leona that's doing it, and Daisy can't act as a zoning tool.
Flash
so
available.
She can't be the zoning tool. This dramatically
Turrigan.
reduces the amount of power that they have on it. Nata's playing as aggressively as he should. There's no Daisy.
Alex
thing.
is here as well.
Yep, Alex has ultimate. Just go for it.
Alaric is low, but can still get that one
my
W
God,
down in the
Pomsky.
pit. They go. The
Alex,
Fade
go for
Shield
it.
misses X-Drop. The Baron is still alive. Kachurikan is in the pit. It's a pit for Diddy. There's no smite now for Rend. He has to get it, but he's in Sun. Yes, it is in the end. Harpo takes it, but just can't get out. Harpo will die. He hits a triple kill for Kachurikan.
Nice,
He
that's
was
the only one
in the stopwatch, and X-Drop now has to find a way out
way.
to keep this buff alive. Can they stop him in time? The $1 million IQ from Kachurikan as Build claims the A's. I mean, Kachurikan, that was a really nice read. He knew exactly where he went.
You ever met a millionaire that is like... Actually, you probably never met a millionaire.
You know I'm a millionaire, right? I'm joking. You believed it for a second, though, didn't you?
No. There is a Baron there. There was a Baron. There was a chance. Verdant played extremely hard for it. They were able to remove Built from the map, but they blew a lot doing it. That Daisy not being there really did bite them in the end, and Nata played exceptionally well. Nata played exceptionally well around that Baron. Alex played very aggressively, and you had to at that point. Ruddy, they just get the straight ace tonight. Every single Baron drop, tried to 10 head with that flash, but all of the options were eliminated, and he got found eventually before he was able to escape with the last Baron. So full ace by Ruddy, big Baron play by Verdant. Very intelligent Baron play with Verdant. Like, those were the conditions. You did have to go for something there, so I'm glad that
Right
they
here,
did
by the
it.
way, Doberman is in a whole heap of trouble. Alaric with the crackdown. Good
So
damage
easy
with
now.
the bullet
So
time on
easy.
top. It's good, it's clean, it's easy now for
So
Ruddy
easy.
as they clean up this fight. Double kill into the hands of Build. And with that, they can look to push down the mid lane.
Yeah. Like, there's basically nothing that can really reach Built from their entire composition. Built is able to get the first autos in a range where he's not able to get flashed on. Shihan has literally no flash right now. Kalmsky, literally no flash right now. No flashes whatsoever. Vayne will just be king. Vayne will run this entire composition down. All she's worried about is Harbo, and they control Harbo beautifully. So, as of the build for that team fight, but right there is the power of the Vayne. Nata, though, for me right now, currently man of the match. Very consistent play from him, very intelligent play from him, as in terms of he can be the champion that basically just autos and occasionally has one of the dumbest ultimates in the game of League of Legends. That's saying something in League. That is saying something in League.
That is saying something. Okay. Nata, 8-1. Very nice scoreline. Good day at the office for me and at my fantasy team then.
Oh, you
top
have him on your
15
fantasy?
last time.
Oh, yeah,
last
you
time
told
I
me.
played. Oh, Alex,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Not good job here for my fantasy because I think he's dead. Kalmsky was waiting on him, but luckily, Ruddy was there as well to make sure he didn't die. Drake on the Rift. It's the second one for Ruddy. It would have been the sole point for Burton, but they can't contest it. What's the next move for Burton now, Burton?
I mean, I like trading the early two Drakes for tempo on the map, because you basically guarantee that you get to dictate the terms of third, fourth Drake, and that's the ones that really pressure the whole map. One ocean, one mountain, don't really care, especially not that ocean for Verdant. It's not like we're looking at an infernal hex deck or something like this. So I do agree with the decisions that Ruddy made in terms of trading there. They're looking to play some defense, but not fully committal defense, because look how far ahead they are on mid and bot. It is Verdant that have to recall and have to defend. Alex, he can recall and just TP for this.
Oh, Alex is dead here. Alex is just dead. Exploded. No! The shield, but he has to go back.
Oh my god.
Can they outplay it?
Oh my
Nice ultimate from Komsky. The solar flare was phenomenal. But stuff is happening on the bot lane as well. They got Shihan as Alaric will fall now here on the top side. Who's winning the push fight? Build is going back. But Turk and Nata just pushing. They'll get one, they'll get two inhibs as well, as you say. And now the recalls are coming through from there.
Yeah, this is why you are fine to just play really hard for the wave as Ruddy. When you're on tempo like this, when you're on their D3 while the enemy has only just crashed on your tier 2, you really don't care. You can even give your life that you're technically winning on both sides of the map there. The enemy has to recall, you'll just start ending the game. If they saw these guys spawn on that tier 3, I don't think they would have stopped. I think they would have gone extremely aggressively on the last defender of the base. Because if they get that kill, they just start setting up scenario to end the game, or they force the recalls and save tier 3 on top side. Either way, you don't have to recall as Ruddy in that situation. Verdant do, and Ruddy played with that knowledge, and they played it beautifully.
Yeah, we'll see. That was a very nice play overall. I think Ruddy, obviously, I should say, getting the most of it. Yeah, good. 3 items now on Harpo, right? That's something, Bertrand. But I feel like someone like X-Drop is really just got into the shadows this game. This guy's a build. I haven't seen it do much work. I mean, maybe it needs to set up around objectives.
Okay,
and poke up,
you're focusing on the wrong build. Look at Bill. How do you kill him?
Wait, what? I didn't
Yeah, how do
see
you kill
the
him?
Warmong's. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Warmong's and Terminus,
Can we
by the
change
way.
this disgusting Warmong's back, man? I see it on so many different trainers that it just shouldn't be on.
But also with Vayne, stylistically speaking, you always stack. Like for years now, by the way, you just stack tank
You stank.
itemization.
Genuinely, if you
after
play range
first
top, you
item.
do probably stink, so I agree with you.
But you go 2 items, like previously it was you go 2 items into tank, max 3 items into tank if you needed like Phantom Dancer because you're against a Giga range team or something like this. Now, your first item's back and your second is Terminus, which is an insane set of boosts for a champion like Vayne, especially with this kind of build. Go straight into the HP of Warmogs, and what happens? Like, how do the enemy do anything to you? If they're burst champions, they don't do anything to you. You're already really good into that anyway. And if they're DPS champions, you have the option to disengage in Vayne, get all of your fight back, and thus win any trade in the long-term worst-case scenario. It's a ridiculous champ. There's nothing the enemy can do at this point in time. Thoroughly misunderstood champion. The enemy is melee, and again, you're waiting on melee bot and melee top, so no matter what, you have a lane you can go into where you will have that range advantage. They can't do anything. Like, they can't. This isn't even a cook. An idiot could play this build
Alex,
and win.
such a nice duke on the solar flare, able to get out as well. Baron started 9k HP. This has to be the moment if they want to get back into the ring of this game. But the Baron already gone. Now they are running for the hills. The bowling ball misses, and that might be what gets Verdant out for now. Alaric, no flash to find the engage, but TP's into the base. They're going towards Shihan, who's... How is Shihan this low?
Yeah, Alex on with the balance.
Let's see this. Harpo, he has to stay alive. He's the one with the damage now, hitting Alaric, but I mean, the tanks being cut through in an instant now. Harpo up, backs against the wall, build, looking for the kills. Nata is low, but not dead, and Ruddy are running forward, looking to secure that playoff spot. This was the win that they needed to get it over the line. With 3 games to spare, EMEA Master tickets about to be booked as that kill comes through. It is only Shihan against his former team who can try and deny this place from being torn to shreds. It's Shihan taken down by Alex and Nata. 10 kills for the misfortune in the bot lane. Playoffs tickets booked. EMEA Masters tickets booked on top of it. Ruddy, they're going to playoffs.
Yep, Ruddy confirmed their playoffs for 4.3k gold lead on the Vayne and 4.9k gold lead on Misfortune. Definitely still going to have to give MVP to Nata, but Bill showing the power of that Vayne pick. It is invincible, it is idiot proof, it is nothing to do with, you know, if you mess up a little with Warmogs and Terminus, I'm sorry mate, you have to mess up a lot on that. Not very many champions can deal with it if you pick it in the right situations. Hope this isn't the last time you see it. And that final fight where he was running down the whole opponents was without Ghost. Normally you wait for Ghost before doing any team plus you can run them down. You don't even need it because of that passive on your R. Brutal champion, hope we see more of it. Fantastic that Ruddy see the value.
Yeah, and with that, we'll throw to a short break as when we come back, the desk will discuss how Ruddy locked that playoff spot.
At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.